Hey everybody, so I had a few moments here and I thought I would just make a little video on but what I've been noticing over the past few days, some real heaviness, and there's been some tragedies that have happened in our country and a lot of people are feeling it. I don't really check the news very much, but I did see the headlines and I just felt a lot of heaviness, almost like a Mercury retrograde type energy. Things felt off, things felt hard. So when that happens, and sometimes when we get triggered by things, whether it's just something that happens, somebody says something to us, people are just reacting in crazy ways or doing things that we don't understand, and it's all we can do to just kind of work through it. We can't control what other people do, right? But we can control how we react to it. So one of the best things that I've found that's helpful for me is just to take a moment to breathe if possible and take some deep breaths. But even if that feels too hard, just kind of taking a moment, be like, all right, what am I feeling? What's this emotion? Where is it in my body? Just locate it. Often it's in our bellies, and just, spend some time just noticing it. I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling frustration. I'm feeling sad. And just really feel it there for a few minutes. Does it seem to be moving? Does it speak to you? Does it have a voice? Does it have a temperature or even a color? And that often just begins to separate some of that. And so then we can start to, move forward with our days. The other thing that happens are the thoughts that come with it. Things are so hard, or why is it never getting any better? Or, all these negative thoughts. And those are really important to try to separate from, knowing that we can't, it's not about denying how we're feeling and, thinking like it's not valid that I feel this way, and trying to we're not trying to necessarily remove those emotions or, push them away. Definitely not trying to stuff them, but process them and ideally move past them. So often what happens though, the ego gets activated when we have negative feelings. First starting with the feelings and then going into the thoughts. So I do this exercise that I just did today with a client, and I do it a lot with people, called reframing automatic negative thoughts. So whatever the thoughts are that start with, I can't, it's never going to blank, nobody's going to blank. Like, that's what the ego does. It's like all or nothing. So starting to just notice that thought, like over here, right? And if you had a pendulum and you could imagine the opposite of that thought would be if you swung the pendulum to the other side, the exact opposite would be, like nothing works or something. I've tried everything, nothing works. Let's start with that. I just pulled over on the side of the road, so there's this pickup truck just like kind of abandoned near me. I just felt like I had to share something. So, anyway, so all right, nothing ever works. I've tried everything, nothing works. So that would be the negative thought. Swing the pendulum the other side. The opposite of that would be everything works, or I've tried this and it's working. Or yeah, we don't believe that though, right? Our ego is like, well, I don't believe that this is working necessarily because I've tried to feel better. I've tried meditation, maybe I've tried yoga, I've tried therapy, who knows what it is. I still don't feel better. It still feels hard. So that's when we take the pendulum to the middle and like imagine that you're swinging it direction, that negative, over here's a positive, but here we're landing on something that feels believable and realistic and actual, possible for you. So what I have learned is a great way to start that is something that starts with, I can see that blank. I'm learning that blank, or I'm starting to believe blank. And so really meditating on it, something that a new thought that you can feel in your body, that literally lands in your heart. So I'm starting to believe that there's been a few things that have helped me in the past, and there's probably going to be something else that will help me feel better, that will work. It's nice to stay with the original vibe of that actual thought in your mind. So let's see if I can come up with another. So that's an example of how to do that. I'll come with another example. I'm never going to feel better. I don't know why. That just popped in my head. Some people might think that. I'm never going to feel better. Okay. I'm never going to feel better. Reframe, or the positive version of that would be, I'm going to feel better. I am going to feel better. But the ego might not believe that. So we land in the middle. I can see that I every day I can do things to help myself feel a little bit better. What I was about to say was this great hypnotherapy mantra, which is every day in every way I am getting better and better. That might be perfect for you. So as you can see, it's all individualized. It all depends on what works for you, what you feel it really lands with you. And then, so if you reframe that thought, again, it's tricky to do this. It can be helpful to have the support of another person to kind of pull those thoughts, the actual thoughts, out of your head. So the next time they pop in your mind, you can be like, question them, right? Like, is this true? Is that 100% of the time true that nothing ever works, or that I'm never going to get better? Or, is there a way that I can start to see, pick this apart a little bit and find something that feels real or possible? So then you can, make that into a mantra. Like, obviously, every day and every way I'm getting better and better is a mantra. Or, I can see that little things here and there will work for me. Or that something has helped me in the past, and so I know that there's hope for something else to work that will help me in the future. So that kind of thing can help work with the brain, with the ego. And then the next thing is to, think about, okay, next time you're driving or you're doing something and you start to have these negative thoughts pop in your mind, what can you say to them to get them out? So something like, go away, stop, not now. I like to imagine I'm in my pillar of light here, and these thoughts may come in, and I just, push them out. There's no space for these thoughts in my divine being, and I push them away. And so then when you do this exercise consciously, when you write down some reframed thoughts, they're usually still sitting in your consciousness somewhere, and then they can pop in. So I hope this has been helpful in some way. Reframing automatic negative thoughts. A few things I'll leave you with, a few powerful questions to ask yourself when you have these thoughts also come up is that 100% true? Because the ego believes that things are all or nothing, black or white, there's no gray area. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst can happen if I try this thing? Or what's the worst can happen if I, go meditate or something just for a few minutes? And then, do you really believe that? Do I really believe that? Do you really believe that? So it's starting to dissect the ego and then leave space for your true higher self to emerge. So, with the heavy energies now, I think sometimes time, rest, changes things. It starts to shift. So I hope this has been helpful in some way, and have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.